Welcome back to the Buffalo Plus channel. Dan Fates. I'm Jenna Cottrell. First off, if you wouldn't mind commenting, and most importantly, subscribing. We're making our way to 10K in terms of followers. We so appreciate it. That's, of course, if you like our content. So we always appreciate that.
Who doesn't?
All right. Well, we are here at practice. The Bills getting ready to head to Nashville this upcoming weekend. And there's something interesting about this Bills team. They're at the top of most of the power rankings in the NFL, and we got to talk to the guys about that specifically after practice.
Yeah, look, I think this Bills team has always banked on the fact that they are the underdogs and that the national media doesn't like them. That's not the case anymore. The national media has completely bought into this Bills team, and they're number one on most power rankings on ESPN and CBS and all of those things. And I asked Stefon Diggs today, what is that like? And he interrupted me and said, that's no cap.
That's cap.
That's cap. Sorry, that's how cool I am. But he talked about how the fact that how you...
For those of us out there that don't know, that means that's a lie. Like, that cap means a lie.
Yes.
Just throwing it out
That's
there.
good news to me.
There's people like Mike Catalana who watch.
Yes, and your mom.
And my mother.
That may not understand that. But he talked about the fact that the Bills team always tries to block out all the noise and distractions and all of those things. But Emmanuel Sanders said a few weeks ago that his dad called him to tell him they were 17-point favorites against Houston. And Stefon Diggs is like, yeah, my mom told me. Like, she calls me, she tells me all these things. And so it is part of their mind, and it is in their brain, the fact that, they are now seen as the top team in the NFL, Super Bowl favorites, Josh Allen, Super Bowl MVP favorite. So this is now, they're in uncharted territory, and how they handle that moving forward, especially as they approach the break. But Stefon Diggs was just great again today.
He is so funny.
Awesome.
A lot of swearing, which I appreciate personally.
A lot of dancing pregame practice.
A lot of dancing.
Before practice today. New playlist. There was some Elvis. There was some Latin music, we would say.
So yeah, there's some Temptations as well. Some good set lists, honestly. But yeah, I will say this is something that the Bills can't get too caught up in, and I don't think they do.
Yeah.
I think obviously they're aware of it. When they say they don't even see it, I don't buy that, because all of these guys are on social media. They all post on Instagram, all this stuff. But at the same point, it's good to be aware but not have that type of mindset consume you. And I think even Steph Diggs talked about it. Like, Sean McDermott is such a laser focused type of guy that every day it's like, hey, we're hungry and humble. Thank you. I combine them.
Yeah, well, I think it was great when he talked about, I was like, oh, you guys listen to podcasts, radio, you guys see social media and stuff like that, and he's like, yeah, but McDermott doesn't. Like it was like the question. He goes, you guys have talked to him before. It's like, yeah, once or twice. We've talked to Sean McDermott once or twice. He goes, you know how it is. Like, he's so laser focused, and even Brian Dable, the fact that he goes, we'll come into meetings and say, hey, we had a really good game. Yeah. We also did some things not very good, and these are what we have to work on. And again, we talked about in the blog that we put up last night on the Buffalo Plus YouTube channel, just the fact that it is so early.
Yeah.
And Stefon Diggs was saying too, and he was talking about his brother and that there could be a Bills-Cowboys Super Bowl, and he was like, come talk to me in week 17. He's like, that's what I keep telling my brother. Like, there's a long way to go, and the next page is now the Titans is the most important game because it's the next game.
It's the next game. It's the biggest game because it's the next game. But it is funny because I feel like you do have to turn the page, because the Chiefs' high-flying, high-powered Patrick Mahomes-led offense to Derrick Henry and the Titans running the ball down your throat is a totally different approach. And the Bills talked about Derrick Henry. Obviously, of course, we think of the Bills, Titans they've played these last couple of years, the absolute stiff arm by Derrick Henry. And they know that's going to be talked about. We asked them about it, and they still say, like, yeah, it's Derrick Henry, and that offense goes through him.
McDermott said, he's like, yeah, I've seen it. I've seen it like every time there's highlights of the game. Like they're not shying away from it. It was the stiff arm, heard around. It was a 5-yard gain. Josh Norman still tackled him, but it was that implication. And Stefon Diggs even said, like, last year, they got their bleep kicked. Like that they kicked their butt. Like, he didn't say butt.
He didn't say butt.
So, like, just the fact of that's fresh in their mind, and that they were a physical team, and that the Bills weren't physical enough. They turned the ball over 3 times in that game. They didn't force a turnover. They got dominated in that game. So it is a complete change of pace. And where they always talk about, it's a week-to-week league. It's a week-to-week league. 1 week they're preparing for Patrick Mahomes and the fastest offense in the NFL. Yeah. Now they're preparing for a 1973 style of offense where they're going to have to tackle Derrick Henry 30-plus times.
Yeah, and it is such a difference, but it is interesting, especially going back, because it just happens to work out that, last year the games that the Bills lost to the Titans, to the Chiefs first, then the Titans, the Bills kind of have that redemption tour type of thing that they can do if they're able to knock off Tennessee. But we did get to talk to them about, just tackling Derrick Henry. Who was it? Was it Taron Johnson was asked? Oh, no, It was Jordan Poyer that was asked. Is tackling Derrick Henry, this is like in a joking manner, is tackling Derrick Henry one of your least favorite things to do on a football field?
Yeah, it's got to be.
I would imagine.
I mean, Jordan Poyer doesn't have to tackle too many linebackers, like throughout
Also
the season.
that, yeah,
So,
that plays into it.
and it's trying to cut him low, but he also, as Sean McDermott said, he's got the speed to pull away from cornerbacks. He's jumped over players before. It's not just one thing, and we talk about fundamentals. Like I just think that's even more highlighted this week.
Yeah, I agree. And also something to think about is today, Matt Milano returning to practice.
Yep.
We've seen him. He was in a limited capacity. He's dealing with that hamstring issue. He did not play against the Chiefs. Obviously, the Bills did not need him to play against the Chiefs, but he is such a huge part of this defense. And just him even trending in the right direction, how big is that for this team?
It's huge, but you also have to factor in they said that they kept him out of the Sunday night game to protect Matt from himself because he wanted to play so bad.
Of course.
And knowing that it's a long season. The bye week is next.
Yes.
And A.J. Klein played better than than we anticipated. And Tremaine Edmonds, I thought, played really well, minus a play or two in Kansas City. So the bye week is next. He was asked about it. And Sean McDermott's like, I understand the bye week's next, as if he didn't know what the schedule was. But just the fact that he goes, well, we're aware of that, but like we're just going to take it one day at a time.
Yeah. I think at this point, it's good to see him practicing. Do I think he will play? I personally do not, because they have the bye week coming up.
I agree. I don't think you play Milano again.
No.
Milano is so good in coverage. Now, he does good attacking the quarterback and all those things too. But A.J. Klein did a pretty good job at covering Travis Kelce. We know he's more of the stout run stopper. And Tremaine Edmonds, I think you go with that.
Yeah, no, I agree. There'll be plenty of decisions to be made, but just seeing him out on the field, because Milano, if you're not aware, which I'm sure you probably are, but he has a history of those soft tissue type of injuries. Those can be impactful. Those can be lasting. So if I'm Sean McDermott,
I agree.
I am taking it one day at a time.
One day at a time.
I love when he says it. We're taking it one day at a time.
The cliche-
Aren't we all? Aren't we
We're all
all?
taking it one day. The cliche this week was it's a week-to-week league. To which Jenna said, we're all day to day.
Yeah, we are all day to day when you think about it.
We're all day to day.
Thank you. Yeah, good point to end on,
Yeah,
right?
that's
Make sure to check out Buffalo Plus as well. We always have so much content. Also, really great video. Mike Catalana interviewed Nashville's sports anchor John Burton. Great insight on the game, on the Titans. Check that out.
And you guys really seem to like it. The audience, you guys seem to like getting that perspective. We had Haley Lewis on from Kansas City last week. We will continue to try and bring in people that cover the opposing team each week.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of fun. We'll have plenty more content up. I'll be in Nashville this weekend, so please send in your hot chicken recommendations or any spots in Nashville you think are pretty cool, because I'd like to check them out. Mike Catalana and I will be traveling. We're going to wrap up here. For Dan, I'm Jenna. Please be sure to comment, subscribe. We love it. We appreciate you. All right, we'll see you. Thanks for watching the Buffalo Plus channel on YouTube. Boom. Let's get wings.